without me even trying.
I'm nervous. Okay. All right. Hello. So on today's episode of Greek for the Week, I have Denver. Say hello,
Ooh,
Denver.
hello. I like Greek for the Week. I listen to the show every week, and
Listen
it's
to
always
it.
interesting.
Listen to it.
Yeah, so now I'm glad to be on the show for once. I can talk about my Greek mythology.
Yeah. So what are we gonna be talking about today?
We're gonna be talking today about the man, the myth, the legend, Apollo.
Apollo, nice.
Mhm.
All right. So I have some questions about Apollo for you. Let me know when you're ready to go.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So who is Apollo? What are his gifts? Like, what's his symbol? Tell me the main gist of it.
Apollo, right? He's a jack of all trades, you can say. Because when you think of Apollo, you can't just think of one thing. He's known as the god of archery. He's also known as music and dance. He's also associated with prophecy. He's also associated with healing and diseases. The sun, the light, poetry, whatever crafts that you like. Arts and crafts, that's the word. Whatever arts and crafts that you like. He's jack of all trades. He's encompassed like most of those areas. Yeah. Sorry. When you think of Apollo, you can think of his lyre, which is an instrument that kind of it's like a U. It's like a horseshoe shaped, with like strings in the middle. That's the lyre. I know it's not really known around these parts, but it's one of his main instruments. He's also known for a lyre wreath, like the ones that you put on your Christmas stand sometimes, and it's like a good luck for Christmas or something. Some say that it's also a python, because when he was born, he slain a python.
Oh damn! When he was born?
Well, a little bit after he was born, a little bit after.
So as a baby, he fought a python.
Basically, it was more like a dragon, but yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting because, like, for most like gods, it's like 2 to 3 things that they're represented for and like their gifts, but he's like everything that goes on and on. So he really is a jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm. Of course, he puts it under his underling, like his son is a god of healing. Does that his sister is also a goddess of archery.
So it's like traits.
Yeah. His and then sometimes the next a lot of gods and goddesses kind of incorporate similar aspects of each other.
That's true. That is true. Interesting.
Like he's also known as the sun, and Helios is also the chariot of sun, or sun chariot, or however you want to say it.
Yeah. So it's like shared traits. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's talk about his background. Where was he born? Who were his parents? Did he have any siblings? Any lovers, children?
Oh, okay. Apollo. He was a guy that was his mother. When his mother and father is Zeus and Leto. The Greek. She's a Titan, a female Titan. And when she was born, when she was pregnant with Apollo, she was pregnant with Apollo and his twin sister Artemis. And when Hera found out, she cursed her for not giving birth on still land. So Leto had to wander the whole earth to find a place that she can actually give birth. Did find it on this island, moving island called Delos, and Delos is where she gave birth. In some cases, in some stories, there's actually 2 places that it says she gave birth on, like Delos for her, and then Artemis on this other island called Ortygia. But Apollo himself, he was born on Delos. uh, that that is the marking of when Delos when he was born, Delos kind of got rooted to the ground and no longer moves. Delos nowadays is known as a Greek center, or used to be a Greek center.
Uh-huh.
Used to be. So I guess it kind of worked out for their favor. They opened up a Greek center, or a Greek famous, I don't know what the word center is. As for his lovers and children, okay. So Apollo, I don't know how to describe his love life. It's kind of tragic. It's not really good. He has definitely a lot of unfortunate loves, of which are maybe his fault, and some aren't, but a lot of times they are. For example, Apollo, he has this problem where he loves, but no one loves him back. It seems like it's kind of yeah. Like, for example, there's one famous one is Daphne. She's a nymph of a river nymph, and she rejected Apollo, and Apollo's like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. And so he chases after her. He's like, no, you gotta love me. Oh wait, actually, yeah. The reason why she doesn't love him is because there's the story of Eos, which is the like Cupid, the
yes,
the Greek
Aphrodite.
Cupid. Yes, of Aphrodite. Yes. He makes Apollo fall in love, and he makes Daphne not love. He shoots Apollo with a love arrow, shoots Daphne with a non-love arrow.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, you see those two don't mix, right?
No.
So Apollo is in love with Daphne, but Daphne doesn't love anything. So she rejects him, and Apollo chases after her, and constantly chases after her until Daphne's like, I'm done. I give up on life. Just turn me into a tree.
Wow.
And
she didn't like him that much. She would rather be a tree.
He did turn into a tree. And that's where also the laurel wreaths come from, because the tree is where Apollo took a laurel off that tree.
Uh-huh.
And that's where his symbol of laurel wreaths come from. But I mean, okay, so think about this though, right? Apollo, he was forced to love. So I don't know how to explain this. Okay, he was forced to love. Does that necessarily mean that could he control himself? No, because he was forced to love.
Uh-huh.
But he forced it too much.
You took it.
What? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't his fault.
I don't know. I'll leave it there. There's another one. There's Cassandra.
Uh-huh.
Cassandra was like, oh, you know what? Cassandra was like, yeah, Apollo, yeah, we can love and lust. But when Apollo was like, yeah, let's do it. And so he gave her like the power to see the future, basically a prophecy.
Uh-huh.
And then she was like, you know what? Actually, nah, never mind. No, I don't want to.
Wow.
She said no. Yeah, she's like, nah, never mind. I don't want this anymore. And so she's like, Apollo, I don't want anything. And then Apollo's like, well, I already gave you my gift, and I can't take it away. So you know what? From now on, no one will ever believe what you say.
Wow.
He was kind of spiteful in that one. Yeah,
That is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, I got you. Here's another one. So this is one that actually somewhat worked out, kind of, not really. So he did find a woman named Coronis, who actually at least let him sleep with her. And this is where his son comes from, Asclepius. But however, Coronis is like, while she was pregnant with Apollo's kid. She still slept with another guy named Ischias. Uh, so this angered Apollo and actually Artemis as well.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna be honest here. It seems like Apollo has a very bad love life.
Yeah, everybody imagine like living a life where like you want all these people but nobody wants you. Like it probably was sad. But going back to saying like about his parents, how his parents were Zeus and Leto, correct?
Yes.
And Hera, which was Zeus's wife at the time, she like doomed them to not
Mhm.
have give birth, right? That's kind of crazy. Like you would think that like it's more of Zeus's fault, and she ended up banishing like a pregnant woman, like a helpless pregnant woman.
Ooh,
Which
it's always
is crazy.
yeah. It's basically always Zeus's fault. I mean, you can go into other stories of count where Zeus literally impregnates a woman and then Hera curses them because they slept with Zeus. And oftentimes it's like Zeus rapes them, or
Yeah,
like they don't even know it's Zeus. So it's so tragic.
it's
It makes
interesting. But I mean, the island that they were banished to became like the community or what did you say about like for Apollo became like a well-known center for Apollo.
Delos.
Yeah, Delos.
Yeah, it became a center of like trades.
I know Hera was real mad about that one.
So I'm a little sick.
Okay, let's talk about the Trojan War. Or I'm looking at the wrong one. Apollo's myth. Let's
I
talk
can talk
about
about anything. Okay, we can talk about the dragon. Or there's a few myths of Apollo. I'll talk about. Remember how I told you earlier that he slain a python when he was a kid
yes.
or baby or whatever? I don't know. These gods they grow really fast. But the reason why Apollo or Leto could not give birth on still land is because in some cases she was being chased by a dragon or python. And when Apollo was born, he was like, I will get revenge for you, mother. And so he goes to this cave and finds the python and he fights it, he slays it. Like the python, which was sent by Hera, it was a sorry, Apollo slaying this python, right?
Yes.
And so he proud of his efforts. He's proud of his efforts. He became a Greek, like I guess, lesson on Olympus. He was like, it's when okay, here the python which he's slain. Sorry, it's because I'm trying to remember the counts here. The python which he's slain went to. It's a symbol of like achievement for him. When he slain it, he was so proud of it that he declared it to everyone. He's like, look at this, I did this, I slain the thing that chased my mother around. And everyone was like, wow, cool, that's so cool. You know what, you can be with us.
Except for them.
Yeah. And then he was so proud. So there's another thing. This is kind of a second myth in terms of he's also known as the Oracle, or like the god that oversees the Oracle of Delphi. Um, after slaying the dragon or python, sorry. Uh, sorry. He goes to this temple of Delphi, or
Mhm.
he it's sorry. After he slays the dragon, he buries it. He buries it and builds a little small shrine on top of it. And this shrine is in Delphi. It's that he builds a temple and stuff in Delphi. Then he goes around looking for people to come to his temple to worship him. And on this shrine, he decided to put on the shrine. This is where the oracle is, the Oracle of Delphi, a famous oracle, Delphic oracle in many myths and legends. The oracle is usually a young woman or girl, and she's often called the Pythia after the python that Apollo slain. And so she would sit on top of the shrine and give oracles in the name of Apollo.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So and that, okay, I could, yeah, that's
Pretty good for his myth. Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna be honest there. I kind of butchered that myth a little bit because I kind of forgot that they are actually connected. So recap here.
Yes.
Apollo was born. His mother chased by a python. Apollo, once he gets born, he gets old enough to at least pick up a bow and arrow and some or a bow and arrow is, oh, you know what, the bow and arrow is a gift from Zeus. Zeus gives him bows and arrows. He takes the bow and arrow, kills the python. The python, then he buries it in Delphi under a shrine, or he builds a shrine on top of it. And this shrine is known as, or the shrine's in Delphi. He then puts an oracle or a young girl on the stand, calls him a Pythia after the python, and he gives the Pythia his oracle powers so that when someone talks to the oracle, they're directly talking to Apollo or Apollo's words.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's true.
That's a good recap. Thank you for that one. Let's move on. Let's talk about what part did he play in the Trojan War?
Okay. So after the Trojan War started, Apollo joined the Trojans. He was part of the Trojans, or Troy. He fought for Troy.
Yes.
The Trojans, not the Greeks. So what he did is he inflicted plague upon the Greek camps with his arrows and his medicine powers, because he's also known as the god of healing and medicines, and diseases. He also is known for aiding Achilles' death when the Prince of Troy shot an arrow. Apollo guided the arrow into a way that it hit Achilles' heel. Yes. Which kills him. Because Achilles was invincible. That's the word, invincible. He had this thing where he was invincible all over his body except his heel. His heel was his only weakness. And Apollo guided that arrow so it hit his heel and he would die. So he played for the Troys in the Trojan War. And his major part was really inflicting or killing Achilles and also inflicting diseases upon the Greek camps.
It's kind of interesting that he would use his arrow to put a plague on the Greek side, Because like being like a god of medicine and healing, like he's doing the complete opposite and like trying to kill these people with his medicine. So it's very opposite, and it's kind of cool how like you can see both sides to their gifts, and like how could he use them bad and how they use them in a good way.
I see what you're saying. Yes, it's kind of weird how he, as a especially as a Greek himself, a Greek god, he would inflict plague as a healing. But
I see why he would be on the other side because he was banished by the Greek side from like Hera and Zeus.
yeah,
What like all what they did to his mother. So I see why he would fight like on the Trojan side.
okay, yes. It's just as a goddess, god of healing or medicine, he's also known as a god of diseases. So,
Oh.
but even so, um, it's kind of like an Aphrodite thing. She does it all. She kind of does. If it doesn't go, if you're not with them, you're against them, and so he can inflict both pain or he can inflict both healing, or he can also inflict disease upon anyone he does not agree with.
And he killed Achilles, so that's interesting too. That it was just his heel that people needed to shoot for him to die.
Yeah, he was invincible, or his whole like only thing that wasn't was the only vulnerable part about his body was his heel. So, and if he got shot in his heel, he would die.
That's, you would think that it would take like much more to kill someone, but all Apollo had to do was shoot his heel, and then he was done. That
Well,
was
okay, yeah, it's because so well when Achilles was born, he was put in the river Styx, and the only thing that wasn't in it was his heel. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like he can. The only thing to kill him is hit his heel. But I mean, how many people aim for the feet? Like,
that's true.
how many people aim for the feet? That's kind of a thing. And he was known as a great warrior because of how invincible he was. No one. The thing about it, no one knew that his heel was his weak point.
Mm-hmm.
No one really knew except the gods. So that's how so that's why Apollo guided his arrow to
Yeah.
his heel, because no one else knew that he was invincible on his heel.
Interesting. Very. That's pretty cool that he was able to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Going back to how you said that he was like the jack of all trades. Do you think that's why like he's known as like one of the most versatile gods to this day?
Yeah, he's known for a lot of things because he does a lot of things. Like I said earlier, he's god of archery. He has a bow and arrow, and he's
Yeah.
pretty skillful with it. Um, maybe his sister's a little better because she's an actual huntress,
Mhm.
but he's still known as the god of archery. He's also known as the god of music and dance. Um, that you could probably say with Dionysus a little bit too, but he plays a lyre, which often uses. He loves the lyre. Uh, oh, shoot.
No worries.
Wait, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I think they're trying to get to me. So he's known as music and dance. He's also known as Truth and Prophecy. He's a Delphi. He takes part in the Delphi Oracle. Or he's known for the Oracle. Healing diseases. He's known for, of course, like the Greek disease that he inflicted on the camp, but also healing his son. The medical symbol that the one with like the two snakes on it and like the staff.
Yes.
That's associated, or you could, some people say it as like a Hermes, or Caduceus.
Huh.
With it, it was originally given to his son, um Asclepios, Asclepios, Asclepius, who is known as the god of modern or god of medicine.
Mhm.
Um, then you also have the sun and light. Uh, he's like the sun and light, while his sister is the moon and darkness, the twins. Even though Helios is the god of the sun who rides a chariot, Apollo is also associated with the the sun and light. Sometimes there's some cases where Apollo is the one that's carrying the sun across is the one in the chariot, but it's generally Helios who does it. It's generally Helios, but he is sometimes associated with that. So that's why he's probably known as the god of sun and light as well. So there's a lot of things he does.
I like that, like he's known as like sun and bright and healing and stuff like that. But when it came to like his mother, like he made sure to like get revenge on those people that did her wrong. Like
Yeah.
he seems like a very like family person.
Hmm.
I like that about him. Interesting. All right, so you were saying about like the medical symbols and stuff like that. So what 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 do we see today that like is Apollo's like legacy living on?
Ooh, that's a good one, right? Because um, Apollo is honestly around us a lot in a way. Um,
Well, especially with the sun because we see the sun every single day.
yeah, okay, yeah, that. Um, well, here's the thing, right? The medical symbol, right?
Yeah.
Even though technically that's not exactly of Apollo, it is related to his son. Because Apollo's healing. When it comes to healing and medicine, shaman healing, usually that's often referred to Apollo. So yeah, even today, when it comes to medicine, uh, Apollo has uh, some relevance, but as people do use his symbol in the reflection of medicine. Um, there's another thing, right? The Apollo space missions named after Apollo himself. Yeah, as you can tell. Um, that was during a time when a lot of NASA likes to name things after Greek gods and goddesses. It
Mhm.
seems like, yeah. Um, or just like has Greek relations. But Apollo uh is the name of the first space missions that actually reached the moon in the 1960s. And the name of the name came to Apollo because it was um Apollo was known as he was a very, he said he's versatile, so in a way like successful.
Mhm.
uh so the Apollo mission was um a way of being like good luck, good fortune.
Okay.
like like okay, like how to explain it? It's his it's because it's like how I said earlier, he's like Helios, right? Or not Helios. How sometimes he's referred to as the god that drives the sun, that drives the sun.
Yes.
NASA looked at the Apollo and was like, you know what? We have a similar idea. instead of sending him to the sun, or instead of driving the sun, we're gonna drive our space program
To the moon.
to the moon. Yeah.
I
So
think it's interesting how like they switched it up instead of because he's a god of the sun. Their mission is to the moon, but they still named it after him because it's a sort of like the same mission.
yeah, you would think actually it would be Artemis, but Apollo. It's Apollo.
Yeah, the opposite. Well,
It
it's not like NASA could like actually drive to the sun though. They would die before they could even get there.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely not in the 1960s.
That is interesting.
is.
Yeah, so he mostly lives on today within like medicine, the Apollo mission, music, Liar. So that's
That's
interesting. You see part of him today. All right, so that was Apollo, the jack of all trades. Very interesting. I would say that he's pretty much like a good god. Although like there's like other sides to him.
I would say Apollo is a god that, he definitely has faults. But he honestly overall is a cool dude, in my opinion. He just misrepresented sometimes. Okay, misrepresented.
Yeah, I feel like he was a good guy. Especially with his love life, like he was just trying to look for love and he could not.
Well, I mean, well, when it comes to gods and their love life, they live forever.
It's very messed up. Yeah.
There's always something. There's always something.
Yeah. Everybody gets with everybody, to be honest. It's interesting. It's like a whole, just one giant affair.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, that's Apollo. Thank you, Denver, for telling us about Apollo today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Greek of the week.
Of the week, Apollo. Stay tuned for our next episode on Zeus, Mighty Zeus.